gather here today in the service of our community. We ask for your inspiration and guidance, and to be reminded of the love that we all share for our community. And as we move forward into this holiday season, let us always remember that the peace and safety we enjoy as Americans comes from the love, sacrifice, and dedication of all the brave men and women who so nobly serve and protect our great nation. Amen.
Thank you, Vincent. So advised, the meeting notices covering this meeting have been sent and posted as required under the Open Public Meetings Act. Our meeting actually started at 5 o'clock with council going into executive session, and at this time I'd ask our solicitor, Mr. Cerny, to please comment on the topics that were discussed in executive session.
In executive session, Mayor and Council reviewed and discussed two matters. The municipality's healthcare insurance consultants presented information in regard to various healthcare programs that the municipality could purchase for employees. After receiving various parts of this information, Council directed the insurance consultant to move forward with renewing the coastal HIF, which is the existing program. It's anticipated that a contract in that regard will be presented within the next 30 days, at which time additional information will be made available. Council also discussed the walker restrictions. As part of that discussion, the Council focused on appropriate fees for the lifting of walker restrictions. Council has decided that a flat fee should be set and will consider at some point during the month of January an amendment to the fee ordinance establishing that fee. Additional information will be made available at the time of consideration of that ordinance.
Thank you, Fred. Okay, at this time, we need the approval of the council meeting and executive session minutes from 12/7/16. Have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion or additions or deletions to the minutes? Seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we have the approval of the payroll requisition list and operating expenses. Could we have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Abstain on 3012 and 3044. Yes to the balance.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Abstain on 2689, 2691, yes to the balance.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, at this time, I'll open the meeting for public comment on agenda items only. So if anyone has a comment on an agenda item, please step forward, use the microphone, and state your name and address for the record. Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Paul thanks you.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street. Just two questions on resolutions concerning the services and how they're being provided. And the question is, are these contracts new? 240 and 242. And I was just wondering, were these services done before by the city? Are we going outside now to have services done? Or am I...
My understanding, and I'll ask John Doring about this, but I think I read the rationale that we've been using Groff tractor for repairs before.
Yes, it's basically for parts, not for,
parts.
it's only for parts.
Right.
Oh, okay, because it says maintenance, so I thought perhaps...
That's what it's maintenance of parts.
Okay, parts. And the one concerning ground and field maintenance. Did we used to do that?
You talking about Lawn Doctor?
Yeah.
I think we've used them before in the past as well, right, John, for some fertilizing?
Fertilizing and weed control.
Weed control.
Okay, now I was just wondering if we had gone outside of the city in order to do some of these services, that it's more, efficient to do that.
If we've gone outside, no one in Public Works holds the pesticide license now. I was the last one to hold the pesticide license.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other questions on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move into our resolutions. The first one is Resolution 2016-231 is a transfer resolution. Whereas New Jersey statutes provides for the appropriation transfers during the last 2 months of the fiscal year, and was determined that it is necessary to expend for any purpose specified in the budget an amount in excess of the sum appropriated therefore, and when it is further determined that there is an excess in any appropriation over and above the amount deemed to be necessary to fulfill the purpose of such appropriation. And therefore, we are transferring $153,100 from the various accounts that are listed to the other accounts that are listed. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'm sorry. Earlier, I'd exchanged emails with Ed, and I had a question about the $107,000 transfer into for accumulated leave, which Ed explained to me, and thank you for that. Ed, do you have a sense, ballpark figure, of how much in calendar 2016 we will have or we will pay out for accumulated leave payments?
Yeah, well, we've expended the appropriation that we provided for in the 2016 budget, which was $500,000. And at the beginning of the year, we had a balance in the reserve of about $195,000. That's down to $127,000. So we roughly paid out about $560,000 for 2016.
Okay, and this, the 107, will that be spent or will that just be in the reserve?
The 107 is going into the trust and set as to try to reserve some more money for the future. There is not an indication that that will be spent at this point in time.
Okay, and do we have a projection yet of potential retirements next year? And I guess a related question, is there a mandated lead time on those announcements when an employee plans to retire?
On the police and fire contract, yes. They're required to let us know by October of the prior year, the preceding year. And moving forward, I think we made one announcement at the last executive session of one member of the white collar union who is retiring, I think early 2017, and I think we received a notice of one police officer who is retiring in 2017 as well. And, I'm sorry, and one Teamster.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Resolution 2016-232 is an assertion of a special item of revenue from the state of New Jersey Drunk Driving Enforcement Fund. And this would be an assertion of $6,908.49. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Chief, we'll talk about how those funds will be used.
Yes, Mayor. They're used primarily for two things. First is the officers' overtime pay for the DWI details that we use. And second is for maintenance and supplies of our Alcotest machine, as well as blood kits and anything else that we may need to process a drunk or a drug abuser.
Thank you. Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2016-233, authorizing strategic plan for the Municipal Alliance Grant. We have a motion and a second, please?
Second.
We have a motion.
So moved.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLeod?
Yes.
Withers?
Yes.
DeLucre?
Yes.
Sarah?
Yes.
Simpson?
Yes.
Mayor Gunther?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And I do want to mention that it's over $16,000 grant, and I want to recognize John Livesey from Municipal Alliance and his volunteers who promote a number of programs within the city of Brigantine and extend out into the county as well. And some of the more visible ones you've seen are the Hooked on Fishing and the other events that you'll be hosting to bring families closer together. So John, thank you. Okay, Resolution 2016-234 is award of contract for professional engineering services for dredging of city dock. Do you have a motion and second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Ed, you want to talk a little bit about this project?
I would, thank you,
Which I
Mayor.
think is fascinating.
Thank you. This is a contract for professional engineering services to do the design and permitting for dredging at the city dock. The reason I'm recommending that we go directly to Mazer Consulting is that Mazer has been awarded a contract to replace the bulkhead at city dock. In that design, we have determined that the best way to replace that bulkhead and still meet our elevation 9 requirement would be to construct a gabion down the center of that site and essentially fill the site to elevation 9. So we would replace the bulkhead to its current height. And again, the logic there is if we raise that bulkhead to elevation 9, you would have a 4+ foot high wall between the beach and the swimming area, and that creates a problem for our lifeguards in guarding and protecting that bathing area. So we would replace the bulkhead in its current location at its basically at its current elevation, but then we would fill the middle of the site. We would use a gabion system to stabilize that and fill the middle of the site. We also know that we need to dredge the city dock area. We typically do that every 7 to 10 years. We need to dredge that. So by combining the two into one project, we can use that dredged material as the fill on the site and then cap that with bar sand, which is the white sand that we have there, and complete both projects under one contract. So Mazer is the contractor that's doing the bulkhead. It made sense to me to have him do the permitting for the dredging and the specs for the dredging as well.
And the dredging is it at the end of the dock or in the?
It would be both.
It would be
So
both.
it's from the bulkhead out to where the barrels used to be.
And it makes sense, although, we talked about it, you'd have quite a drop if you went to elevation 9 between,
Correct.
at low tide between the top of that bulkhead and that, if it becomes a sandy beach there as well.
That's right.
At the bottom, so makes sense. But it's an interesting design, that's why I made my comment earlier that it's one that's going to utilize the dredge material as well as it's doing what it needs to do to maintain that as a recreation area.
Correct.
Do you
I'm sorry.
Do you anticipate this being done before
It will not be done before this summer season, so the schedule would be to construct in the fall.
Okay, good.
What's the approximate depth that they're going to take out of there with the dredging?
So obviously it varies. You go from the tide line out. We've done this now 3 times, so it's already been permitted to the depth that we're allowed to go.
Okay.
It's above the channel depth.
All right.
But so we haven't gotten that far yet. I don't know the level of the existing mud now to be able to tell you whether it's going to be 3 feet or 5 feet.
Okay.
So the next question is, can you bring back the high dive?
And the slide.
That's why I wanted to see the depth. If we go deeper, can we go higher?
I doubt it, but the other thing, and when you look at that design, you'll be able to keep that other beach open to launch.
That's correct.
Which may, otherwise if you were to bulkhead, it's the only way to do it is what you've done, which makes total sense.
And we know that worked for the swim lessons, but now we also see a lot more kayak and stand-up paddleboard launches from there as well. So we would maintain that.
Get that squared away, have to bring back the bay races. Sounds good. Any other comments?
In this project, is there a floodgate included in this project?
So not on the city dock. So the goal is to create an elevation 9 barrier that would tie into both sides, and the bulkheads would then run along those property lines to essentially make the elevation 9 continuous to the adjacent properties.
Thank you.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2016-235, work change order increase for design replacement of the fire department roof for a moisture test. Go have a motion, and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
And this will be a net increase of $4,320.
Yes, Mayor, council has awarded a contract to Mazer Consulting to do the specifications and design for the replacement of the flat roof at the fire department and at the Public Works building. There's a savings, a potential savings on the type of roof that is installed, and that depends on really the moisture content. That's why we wanted to get this up front, so we would know in our design which way to do, whether we're going to strip that off entirely and go back with type A, or do we have an alternate that could save us more than the $4,000.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2016-236, requesting the planning board to review our resolution designating an area or areas in need of rehabilitation within the city of Brigantine. This is a resolution whether the city of Brigantine satisfies the criteria to be designated an area in need of rehabilitation. We have a motion, and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, this is something that has started in some ways. It has a number of instances where this could be used, perhaps for grants or also for the tax abatement through the some of the things that have been proposed by our Economic Development Committee. So Ed, I know you're looking at it for some other funding mechanisms as well?
That is correct, Mayor. This really is a first step in this process. It comes to us through the Economic Development Committee and from our consultant, Jim Bertella, who is preparing our economic development plan. If one of the doors that this opens for us is if council were to consider a tax abatement program for commercial properties. You may recall also that we have been working with the ACIA to look at a scattered redevelopment plan for certain properties on the island. This again would be the first step. It's really just asking the planning board to go through the process that's established in the code and find out whether or not we meet the criteria, any one of the criteria, to make that designation.
Ed, you mentioned the ACIA and looking at potential redevelopment plans, redevelopment areas. So I take it that's still a live consideration, that we're looking at some distinct areas as potentially being eligible to be determined to be areas in need of redevelopment versus rehabilitation.
Correct.
Okay, and the key distinction, Fred, you with us, is, as I understand it, that an area in need of rehabilitation, key difference from a redevelopment area is that you don't have the power of eminent domain. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you, Fred.
And actually, that was not something that was considered.
Correct.
You know, as any of the discussions that were held, but it's a good distinction that you raised. That is the use of eminent domain. It was not discussed at all. Okay, any further discussion?
Is there any cost to this review by the planning board?
Most of the work will be done through Jim Rotella as part of our economic development plan. So for the most part, no. There may be some consulting work with our planner on the board level, but I expect that that will be minimal.
Thank you.
Okay, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2016-237. And this is authorizing the submission of participation New Jersey Department of Transportation Bikeway Grant Program. It's authorization to submit a grant. Could I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Ed, you want to talk about the scope?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We are applying this year for a grant to essentially to restripe the bike lane that exists mainly on Brigantine Avenue, Harbor Beach, and Lagoon Boulevard. So it would be restriping and resymboling that path.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, could we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2016-238 is authorizing submission of a grant application with New Jersey Department of Transportation for Safe Streets to Transit program. And this would allow for us to put some bus shelters up.
That is the plan, yes.
Can I have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
So Ed, the submission of the grant, you want to mention where those locations are?
So the resolution gets us started where my recommendation is right now, would be at Harbor Beach in front of TD Bank. It would be at the intersection of Harbor Beach and Lighthouse Drive. It would be at the intersection, it would be along Harbor Beach in front of Dolphin Cove, and right here in front of City Hall at 15th Street and Brigantine Avenue. I've had a conversation with New Jersey Transit. They went through their records to see where the largest ridership occurs, and it was those locations, or at least the 3 locations. This one I thought would be a worthwhile one to put in. Obviously open to council's recommendations.
They're good locations.
I'd say it's definitely needed on the Harbor Beach location. One of the big issues that's down there is people take the shopping carts down from Acme, they leave them there, but a lot of people are using them to sit on. I've spent a lot of time going down and talking with people down there, and one day I went down and there's literally a woman there who's with a walker who can barely stand, and she's using the cart to support herself up. You know, especially too, having the enclosed shelter is very important to people. They said in the winter it's very cold, especially with the wind. They're freezing out there. You know, they come over from Atlantic City to shop, so it is supporting one of our businesses. They said the same thing in the summer. The sun's very hot. It's beating down on people, and people who use that location would really like a closed-in shelter to be able to sit and hide from the, I guess, the elements.
Yeah, I think that spot is, if I recall from my conversation with New Jersey Transit, was the highest ridership.
Right.
It was there or in front of Dolphin Cove, but both very high riderships.
Okay.
Ed, I think Vince was in part talking about the spot on Harbor Beach inbound, right by the bulkhead, which is not one of the spots that we're looking at, right? We're looking at the spot in front of the bank.
In front of TD Bank.
Yeah,
Yeah. TD Bank.
the one I'm thinking is in front of TD Bank
Yeah.
outgoing.
Right, so the one maybe Vince is describing, but it's the same situation there. On the opposite side of Harbor Beach, over by the bulkhead, you do have a lot of people coming from Acme, Brigantine residents, waiting to catch the bus there. Was any thought given to trying to locate one there, or is there not enough room?
So I haven't looked at it. At this point, this authorizes our application, and I can certainly go out there and look at it. And if we can squeeze in a shelter there, we can make application.
I would caution council, having been through this before, that you You really should put shelters where you have a concentration of riders. You are going to get requests
Right.
from individuals, and you will wind up with shelters on every corner that become a maintenance issue. Once New Jersey Transit does this, so in conjunction with NJDOT, I don't know if they're gonna maintain them, or they're gonna have us.
Oh, no, it would be on us.
Right, so really you wanna put them where there is a concentration of riders, and, you know, I think that makes sense, that it's based on some real
Ridership.
data,
Yeah.
ridership. Just, you know, you will, I've seen it grow before. You'll have many shelters that don't have significant ridership, but they're out there, and they're, remember that we live in a very, an environment that creates maintenance. We're on the shore, and these are metal for the most part. They are gonna take, you know, a beating with the elements, and we wanna make sure that they continue to look great at all times, but you have to be careful you don't wind up with shelters where you don't have a concentration of riders. And that has also been a consistent place where you've had riders over time.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Back when I had the gas station, they used to stay in the gas station restrooms, waiting for the bus to come. So it is, you got a lot of people coming there, especially who works at the mall there and everything. They all get dropped off, and you can see a pile of them go over there, and they go working whatever time it is, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I think we start out with 4 or 5. That's fine, and we'll, if we get requests, we'll ask Transit to give us some numbers where the requests are.
Okay.
And if they're high enough, we'll make a decision at that time.
Very good.
Ed, if we get this grant, do you get to pick, does the city get to pick the design of the
No,
bus shelter?
That'll be part of the application, and we were looking at, I was talking with Lance Landgraf from CRETA, because they just put in a few bus shelters in Atlantic City. So I was going to start with their actual construction costs as part of our estimate. So, yeah, but once we get it, we would get a dollar amount, and then we would look at, you know, what design council would approve.
It wouldn't be a bus shelter where there would be signage or advertising or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Just checking.
For the most part, these are prefab. There are only so many designs, correct?
So
That is
it's-
correct. Unless we're gonna get into designing something unique, it would be something that's probably already there.
Shell,
Mostly glass.
Shell?
like a shell.
There
Well,
are a lot of bus
mostly glass,
shelters
yeah.
with advertising, though. They're-
Yeah, I mean, it became, we're gonna wrap the electrical boxes in Midtown, so that could be a possibility later on if they get a little shabby, to wrap them. Some fish on.
Okay, could we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
McClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Tiger, you remember everybody used to go into the restroom when you worked at the gas station? Yeah. Okay, since the chief remembers, I'll say yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay.
Okay, resolution 2016-240, award contract to Drop Tractor NJ LLC for maintenance and service grounds and maintenance
I think
equipment.
there's one more. There's one more grant
One up top.
application.
There we go.
39.
Resolution 239, submission of a grant application for the NJDOT Municipal Aid Program. Can I have a motion and a second?
Make that motion?
Second.
Ed, which street are you applying for this year?
It'll be Roosevelt Boulevard, is my recommendation, Roosevelt Boulevard between Lincoln and Sheridan, so the eastern side.
Would that complete Roosevelt Boulevard?
No, we would still have between Sheridan and towards the golf course.
Okay.
So,
Do you
We
have-
have sewer work we have to do.
Mhm.
That'll be, hopefully, we're trying to time this. We'll be presenting council with a request for a bond for sewer improvements. One of the sewer mains that we need to replace is Roosevelt Boulevard. So we're hoping to time, we would have this money and the council's money for the sewer.
Mhm. Do you have a list of streets right now that are waiting for such municipal aid?
So we have actually just completed our list with our professional and our consultant prepared an evaluation of all the streets. We're in the process of reviewing that, but yes, we have a list, and we will have that list for council. We'll put it up on our website, so everybody will see the evaluation and the rating of every street. In terms of the municipal aid, though, we try to focus on the more heavily traveled, the higher intensity.
Like
streets.
East Beach?
I'm sorry?
Like East Beach?
East Beach is absolutely on our watch list, for sure, yeah. Roosevelt works simply because we've already had municipal aid money approved for Roosevelt, and when you continue a municipal aid project, it scores higher, so we want to kind of continue that out, and then we would move to the next location. But East Beach needs it, no question about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any further discussion? Could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, next we move to Resolution 2016-240, award of contract for Groff Tractor LLC for maintenance and service of grounds and maintenance equipment. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
This is one that, this is a company that you have been using in the past?
That is correct, Mayor. This is, the next four, this one and the next three are pay-to-play, typical pay-to-play resolutions. So these are contracts that we have for services that are performed during the calendar year of 2016, and those services are either have exceeded 17.5, which is the pay-to-play threshold, or we are extremely close and we're being safe. They are all less than $40,000. So they have not pierced the bid threshold, but they exceeded the pay-to-play threshold, and that's what these resolutions acknowledge.
Thank you.
Vince has a question.
No, I already asked.
There it is. Okay.
Okay, could we, any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, can we have roll call?
You,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, Resolution 2016-241, award of contract for Ralph Schulman Trucking for crushed clam shells and for various repairs. We have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Seems a little counterintuitive that we're paying for clam shells, but,
They're special shells.
it's special shells, yes.
Pay the seagulls. They bring them right over.
They do. And this, once again, falls in the same category.
That is correct, yes.
Okay, any further discussion?
These are Cove and Jetty on the trail?
Yes.
Okay.
Just trying to keep up with one.
Yeah.
I noticed some clamshells
Keep 'em up from the
out
golf
along, in front of the library. Is that used as a mulch?
We had during heavy rain, with a lot of water that runs down 14th Street, and every time it rained heavy, we would lose the mulch. So we decided to take some of the dry clam shells and try it along there, and people seem to like it, and we don't have to clean the mulch up all the time.
I'm just curious, does Ralph Schumann sell, what else do they sell besides crushed clamshells?
That's it.
That's it?
There's one or two in the whole state of New Jersey that's a contract with Shuckers.
Shuckers.
There you go. Sounds good. Mhm. Thank you.
I'm glad you did. Okay. Could we have roll call, please?
You,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes to the Shuckers.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2016-242 is award of contract for lawn doctor for ground and field maintenance. A motion and second.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on the lawn doctor?
Last year, did we have a contract with Lawn Doctor, or was it True Green?
We have a contract with both. One does the fertilizing and one does the weed killing.
Okay. And this one is for the
Weed killing,
weed killing.
yes.
Do you know what kind of contract you're going to enter into with them? Are you going to do an organic contract or some sort of synthetic?
We've looked at doing organic, and it's like 3 times the cost.
Okey-doke. All right, and they'll be marking,
They mark.
they mark.
And if people want to be notified by email when they're in an area, the people contact me and I give the company their email address. We had an issue a couple years ago and no one has yet given me their email address.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Bless you, Fred.
Okay, resolution 2016-242 is award of contract to Vital Communications Inc. for the tax assessment software, maintenance, and other services. A motion and second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, resolution 2016-244, authorizing the second amendment of the co-location agreement with the PTI US Development Sites, one, lead carrier to permit the co-locator Verizon Wireless to add and remove equipment on leased premises. We have a motion and a second, please.
Make that motion.
Second.
So Ed, they're making some changes?
It is basically a change in equipment only. It is not the addition of additional carriers or anything of that nature, but the equipment that is there apparently is outdated, and they want to update the equipment.
Are they adding any new equipment to any new locations?
What they tend to be doing is changing their new equipment to better, more efficient equipment. So yes, they are putting new stuff on there, but removing old stuff. So we're trying to balance that, particularly on the water towers. On the monopole, that's different. That's all, they kind of manage that themselves. But they're doing this for that LTE for just more efficiencies in their operation. But the new equipment is simply just better, and they're replacing the older.
Okay.
Now, is this resolution specific just to the 38th Street site?
It is.
Okay.
As I understand it.
Got it. All right.
Where do we have Verizon on the north end?
Our monopole, I'm sorry, on the north, I think they are on this water tower.
Oh, over here on 14th Street?
They're on 14th Street, but this resolution has to do with the monopole.
Okay, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
I'm going to abstain. Verizon Wireless is a client.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson,
Yes.
Mayor Gunther,
Yes.
motion carried.
Mr. Cern, you okay if we combine these refunds? Okay, so if we could combine resolution 2016-245 through 248. We need a motion to combine those?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on any of these? Okay, seeing none, can we have roll call?
View,
Yes.
LeClay,
Yes.
Withers,
Yes.
DeLucre,
Yes.
Sarah,
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Resolution 2016-249 is the cancellation of real estate taxes for a 100% disabled veteran. Have a motion and a second, please.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Withers.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And then we have one more refund, Resolution 2016-250 is a special event permit refund. Can we have a motion and a second, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, can we have roll call, please?
View.
Yes.
McLeod.
Yes.
Withers.
Yes.
DeLucre.
Yes.
Sarah.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Mayor Gunther.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, council manager committee discussion. Ed, have anything you want to bring up? Perhaps some good news?
I do, Mayor, yes. Some good news, very good news, and really keeping with the holiday spirit. I wanted to just point out a few things and recognize a few people in a few departments. First, I want to start off with the True Spirit Coalition and our city clerk, Lynn Sweeney, and just recognize the outstanding effort and work that was done just this past weekend in collecting and distributing toys, donated through Toys of Tots and collected throughout the island to 153 children on the island. It was a massive undertaking. If you all saw the toys as they were piled up in all the rooms. And I'd actually like to ask Lynn to speak a little bit about it. I know she won't speak about herself, so I wanted to mention all the work that she does in coordinating and making that event happen, but she can mention the other organizations and the people that are involved.
Thank you. Well, it's really a collective effort by the religious organizations, the civic organizations, Toys for Tots. In fact, a lot of the businesses, and I really would be remiss if I didn't say Andy from Riptide was so generous, and Savoy Limo, they really came out and gave to us big time. I have a lot of helpers that come in, a lot of elves, I call them, that were here on Saturday and Sunday, and everything donated locally stays right here to the local children. It's really a big group effort. I can't take any credit for that, so.
And it's 153 kids that are going to have presents to open.
It was just an incredible effort. And it seems to get bigger every year.
Well, I think we have, even though we have less children now, I think with the casinos, and we have a lot of people in need right now, and it showed in the numbers that we had this year. So thank you for everybody for donating.
You filled this entire room.
It was amazing.
Packed. This whole room
It was
packed.
amazing. Every bench out there, up here, the tables, everything was just totally covered. It was amazing.
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Karen, for all your efforts.
Are all the
too.
toys delivered now?
They're all out. Yep.
It's good work.
Thank you.
Also would like to congratulate the police department and ask Chief Bennett to talk about some donations that the PBA helped distribute.
Yes, sir. Thanks to a generous anonymous benefactor, the PBA was able to purchase 20 gift cards for $100 apiece from TD Bank, and we distributed them to folks that are on the list from the True Spirit Coalition. We were able to take care of that all in the last couple of days, so we gave out $2,000 worth of Visa gift cards to these families to use for either presents or home goods, groceries, whatever they needed this time.
Awesome.
That's great.
It was really nice. Like I said, it was an anonymous donor. We got the money and sent our guys to the bank and took care of it. It was really a huge help for some folks.
It builds that bridge with the police, too. That's
We can hope, sir, yes.
absolutely.
And also would like to congratulate Chief Platt and the fire department on the Santa Tour, which I think most of us have. We're privileged to have a drive-by over the last 2 days. And Tiger, if you'd like to talk about that.
Thank you, Ed. Yeah, there's this Santa Tour has kind of turned into a pretty big event. We've been doing this for 5 years now, since Superstorm Sandy. That Christmas was the first year we did it. But there's a few people that make it happen every single year that put a lot of their energy into it, and the first person I want to point out is Captain Paul Fuller, who really takes this under his wing and makes it his own. And the members of Bravo Platoon, B Platoon, which is his shift, you know, that truck, when it rolls by, it's got the lights and everything. Somebody sets it up. They have to set it all up. They have to get a generator to power the lights. Public Works provides a PA system to have the music. They have a platform that they have to install in the truck for Santa to stand on and wave. They have to reroute the vehicle exhaust so they don't choke themselves out after the whole night of driving. So there's a lot of work that goes into it, and those guys put a lot of work into it. So I want to thank them personally. And then, of course, to make it all happen, there's individuals that come in and take time away from their families and hop in the trucks and make a lot of noise and go around the island. And that's Captain Fuller, Lieutenant Driscoll, firefighters Croce, Duran, Malia, and Lang. And those guys were involved for the 2 nights. And of course, Santa himself for taking time out of his busy schedule to come down and help us out for 2 nights. And you know, it's a lot of fun. We had a huge turnout on the north end, and the south end was a gigantic turnout this year as well. And we have a map that we use. We don't put the map out publicly, because people then, you know, because sometimes we have to make a turn here or there. But the map worked out great, and Paul had drawn up this map, so I was in the lead vehicle both nights, so I'm kind of like looking at the map, trying to figure out where the next turn is, but he had it perfect. We don't hit every street, but we hit as many as we possibly can, and we did it for 3 hours each night, and it was a great turnout. And I just want to piggyback with Lynn Sweeney. You know, Monday morning, the guys on duty came over for the families that couldn't come in and pick up the toys. Our guys threw them in the fire trucks and went and delivered them personally to them. And it's just, you know, and I got to deliver one myself to a good friend of mine that lives down in Schooner that I worked with at Acme for years. And just to see the look on their face when the trucks pull up, and I have that big garbage bag full of toys, it really makes a difference. And then Tuesday morning, you know, when you guys see it over here, we do it Easter, Thanksgiving, and these guys, the food deliveries, and again this year the police and firemen were out doing it again, and it's a great thing what you guys do with the True Spirit Coalition, and we're really happy to be a part of it.
So much.
Thank you, Chief. And then finally, as with everything that happens in the city, Public Works makes everything happen. So from the toys with the True Spirit Coalition to all of this that happens, it happens on the backs of the Public Works. So I want to thank John and the Public Works Department for all their work as well, and all the decorations and so forth. So that's what I have, Mayor, just put us in good spirits for
And I
for
have
the holidays.
received a number of compliments from people in the community about how great the decorations look this year. And you guys did a wonderful job. And you have the best windproof decorations probably anywhere. You guys have it down to a science.
We're the test market.
We are the test market for you. Not a bad idea.
We should get them for free.
Ed, anything else?
Mayor, that is all I have.
Great. Great.
You have, I believe, something, right?
Oh, yeah, I do, yes. Are there any other council issues or anything? We have 2 council members who, we actually have one more meeting coming up, but we do have 2 council members who will not be joining us in the new year, and we do have a plaque to be presented to each council member. And this is to Councilwoman Lisa McClay. It's in appreciation of your dedicated service to the city of Brigantine. On behalf of, I'm presenting it on behalf of myself as well as City Council. And I think all of us realize how much time it takes to be involved in city government and to serve your community, and we appreciate the time that you've put in and the service and the work that you've done during your time on City Council. So congratulations. Councilman Withers. John, you haven't been with us that long, but certainly appreciate the time that you put in as well, and that's why we have the clocks, because they represent time. And your service to the city of Brigantine, and for your service to the residents in Ward 3. We appreciate your input and the work that you've done on the city council. So thank you again, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
I just want to say a few words. I wasn't expecting this. Well, thank you. It's a lovely surprise. It's a beautiful plaque and clock. It's been a privilege. It has been an honor to serve the citizens of the Second Ward and all the citizens of Brigantine. Excuse me. It really is a great opportunity to learn how your government works. So I would recommend anyone interested. It is a fabulous opportunity. I have a good understanding and a better understanding on how our city government works. I am mostly proud of establishing the Green Team with the work of people in the community and the volunteers that I hope and wish to continue working in and with, and it's just a pleasure. It really is. 4 years, wow. Goes fast, but 4 years is a long time of your life to volunteer and help your community. It was really, really great run. Thank you.
I too would like to say thank you very much. I know my run was a little short. I would have enjoyed giving 4 years. Maybe in the future sometime I can help out again. I started off in the beginning saying that I don't think anybody in this town is doing anything wrong. I think everybody believes they're doing the right thing. And I do want to say that in this country, with the climate and the temperature of our country right now, that I really do love the fact that we can agree to disagree on things and that we don't have to see eye to eye, and I think that's the biggest thing. I'd be seriously worried if we all agreed all the time on everything. I love that there's a checks and balances. Again, I enjoyed myself this year. I learned a lot, and I just want to say, as Mr. Stinson said, I think that Public Works is the big boy on the block, and they hold a lot of stuff down, so thank you very much. To the police department and the fire department, thank you guys, and for everybody up here, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, John. This time I'll open the meeting for public comment. Yes, John.
Good evening, it's John Livesey, 203 9th Street North. I'm here on behalf of Brigantine Municipal Alliance, City Council, Mayor, Deputy Mayor. I have a few things I jotted down. Yesterday I attended the Atlantic County Coordinators of the Municipal Alliance meeting, and some of the things came out. I wish I could say are bringing tidings of great joy, but unfortunately there's some things that we need to go over. Number one, I have a brochure on vaping. I don't know if everybody's familiar with that or not, but it's the electric cigarettes. Some of the things, these cigarettes contain liquid nicotine and a highly addictive chemical that raises your pulse and blood pressure, irritates the lungs, increases your risk of heart attack. Research shows that e-cigarette vapor contains toxic and cancer-causing ingredients like formaldehyde, lead, nickel, and dilethylene glycol. I can't even pronounce it. But I have some brochures about that if you're not familiar about it. In the state of New Jersey, they treat it just like smoking. So if smoking is in effect, you can't smoke, you can't vape. I wasn't aware of that myself, but I wanted to pass that on. Secondly, some statistics about the heroin epidemic. And as of August 3rd, there's been 64 official overdose deaths in Atlantic County. Since January 1st, they're anticipating about 120 plus deaths. 50% of those have occurred in the last 6 months. Atlantic County ranks approximately 4th in the state, but when you take it by per capita, we're #1 in the state. It's not something to be very proud of. There's definitely a correlation between a trauma and the addiction. When somebody faces some kind of trauma and they get into painkillers and everything, it does tumble into addiction. A couple other things I found out, 7 out of 10 people are predisposed to drug addiction. And in the USA, we consume 80% of the world's opiates. Fentanyl and W18. Fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine. And there's certain, it was first introduced for medical purposes in the 60s. It was used in pain management. There are some forms of fentanyl that are 10,000 times stronger than morphine. So if you wonder why people are dying, it's because they can't handle it. The W18, I don't know much about except for this. It's 100 times more potent than fentanyl. And they're afraid that that's going to be coming and getting into this country. So if we think we have an epidemic now, it's going to get a lot worse. With that being said, I want to announce that my quarterly meeting for the Brigantine Municipal Alliance will be on January 17th at 6:30 in the CER. And at that time, we will be talking about, we're going to reinstitute our family dinner. We had one here about 3 years ago before I got involved with the Municipal Alliance, and quite a few families participated. We're going to have a lot of the community organizations participate. I believe the Sons of Italy have jumped in to help out, and also the Brigantine Elks, which is where the event's going to be hosted. The date for that is going to be March 30th, which is a Thursday. And there'll be more information on that to follow as after our meeting on the 17th. We'll fine-tune some of the things that'll be happening at that particular meeting. It was a good event, good time, and I think it's going to be worthwhile for everyone. Getting back to the heroin epidemic, I do have flyers up here on, there's free Narcan training. They offer free training, and you'll be given a free Narcan kit. The training, they have the dates, January 19th, February 15th, March 16th, and April 20th, up at the Southern Regional Institute and ETTC up at Stockton. And the information, I have flyers here if anybody's interested. It is free training, and you will get a free kit. Anybody that has a relative or thinks they have a relative that may have an addiction problem really should go and get this training and get this kit. It can save lives. It's not going to cure the problem, but it may buy them some time until they can get to the EMS people and get there and get them to the hospital. So it's something to take very serious, and I've been trained, and I'm sure some of the others here in this room have been trained. So I want to pass that on to everybody. Lastly, I've been talking about this at some of the meetings. Join Together Atlantic County, JTAC, has gotten locking medicine cabinets. There's 2 locks on them, and they are for locking your medicine, your pharmaceuticals, your drugs. If elderly people that have to take a lot of medications, the thing we overlook is grandchildren, nieces, nephews, friends coming to the house. And one of the things they do is they go in and they look, can I use your bathroom? And they go in and look in the bathroom, and what they're looking for is pills. And they don't take the whole bottle. They just take a couple here, a couple there. And it's something very serious. I have magnets that talk about this and what to do. And one of the first things to do is take inventory of what you have in the house and dispose of all medications properly and lock up the ones you need. And these are available through JTAC. You can contact me. My email address is jelivesey, L-I-V-E-Z-E-Y, @msn.com. And if you're interested and need one, I'll make sure you get it. Right now, they're available through, like I said, through Join Together Atlantic County. And I don't believe there's a cost for them right now. If you're selling a house, it's highly recommended. If you have pharmaceuticals in the house and you got people coming through your house, it's highly recommended to lock up your medications. I think that's all I have for today. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
See you all on the 17th.
Once again, I appreciate the time you're spending and your educational outreach on this very, very serious topic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Yes, Mrs. Phillips.
Ann H. Phillips, 308 27th Street, on behalf of the Brigantine Taxpayers Association on 3 topics. Number 1, on December 1st, the Army Corps of Engineers had a meeting at Stockton to discuss with public officials and the public a study it's doing on Back Bay flooding, which in Brigantine and our other barrier islands caused most of the damage from Sandy. A subject at the meeting was property owners with bulkheads vulnerable to flooding from properties without them. Planner James Rutala, who I think is under contract with the city, said affected communities should take every opportunity to communicate with state and federal officials about bay flooding and their towns. How is Mr. Rutala representing Brigantine in regard to this study? How is council keeping the public informed about it? Are we monitoring properties without bulkheads, ones in need of repair, and those below the height requirement to ensure they're in compliance with our code? 2, has the discussion been held to discuss and establish uniform accounting practices for the transfer of private money for public uses? And is this issue finally resolved? And 3, at what council meeting will complete figures for 2016 golf course revenues and expenditures be available? Will public funds again be placed in the budget to sustain its continued operation? The public should be aware of its financial condition and need for capital improvements. I hope you all made some notes and so that you can answer all 3 of those topics. Thank you.
I didn't make any notes, Mrs. Phillips, but I'll start with the bulkhead issue. Mr. Stinson actually attended the meeting and represented the city of Brigantine at that meeting at Stockton. And just a couple of things with, with our bulkhead ordinance, and Ed will certainly add the engineering details, but the elevation of our bulkheads actually exceeds what is in place in many other shore communities, has been that way since the 80s. So with elevation 9, which we presently have, we are exceeding where some communities are. Mr. Rotella is under contract with the City of Brigantine. He's doing a number of things for us. He was actively involved and helped write the Sandy Recovery Plan that guides our infrastructure improvements that we are doing right now. And we have obviously communicated very well with our state and federal, at least I have, representatives about the need for funding to secure bayfront flooding. I think one of the best ways which we can represent that is what's going on right now at the boat ramp. The boat ramp is one of our most vulnerable areas, and it's one that we're receiving a grant to repair, as well as the pumping stations that are in the mix right now. So we are always very actively involved. We have also developed a bulkhead plan. I'll let Ed talk a little bit about that in the meeting that he attended. What I should say is an assessment of our bulkheads where we are right now. So Ed, why don't you take over from there?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we received a post-Sandy planning grant to evaluate, survey our bayfront for the bulkheads, and that has been completed in draft form. We're going through that with the engineer now. But we through that study will have a record when it's finalized of the elevations of existing bulkheads and mainly the material, whether they're vinyl or whether they're wood, and what condition they are in. So that, like I said, that is in draft form, but we have that. So we're working towards a final report that will give us that inventory. The ones, obviously, the first step would be the ones that are identified as in failing, non-compliant condition with our ordinance. Then we would start enforcement action on those properties. Some properties do not have bulkheads, and we have nothing in place right now that requires the immediate installation of bulkheads. What is in place is if there's a substantial improvement on that property, then that would trigger the requirement under our bulkhead ordinance to put in a bulkhead. So right now we have this draft inventory. We will have a final inventory soon, and we'll start taking some enforcement actions to make sure at least everybody's bulkhead is compliant in terms of the maintenance and the structural integrity of that bulkhead. We are working with Jim Rotella, and we are following the Army Corps study very closely. We participated in every one of their outreach meetings as they work through this process. And most recently, I met with Jim Rotella talking about applications that for grant funding to do some bulkhead improvement on municipal properties, one out by the golf course and one down along 15th Street North and East Beach Avenue. So we are pursuing every grant opportunity that presents itself, and we are actively engaged and participating in the Army Corps study. Hopefully that answers that one.
I think it was on bulkheads.
Ed, one thing about bulkheads, back when Lisa and I was developing single-family homes in Brigantine, some places doesn't require non-pollutant materials, man-made lagoons and stuff like that. I think as this council or city of Brigantine, we should make everybody have the plastic materials so it lasts probably 100 years instead of a 30-year bulkhead under the present, you know, because it affects everybody at that particular time. Affects your neighbors, affects everybody. So if we mandatory that, then there's no question upon it.
So I believe we can do that in our ordinance. I think that adds a cost, and we know right now the bulkheads are extremely large ticket items to begin with. What is in place right now is you have to maintain your bulkhead in a structural, good structural condition. So if it starts to fail, starts to allow upland fill to go through, you're non-compliant, we take enforcement action. But we can't see and monitor every bulkhead on the island, so a lot of times that takes a complaint from a neighbor. So your solution would address that and would give a longer life,
Right.
but it would add cost and the burden of that to the property.
Part of
owner.
doing business. I mean, there is some cost that, you know, that you deal with quality in that, and take care of the neighbors and take care of the city of Brigantine for that matter, and all of Brigantine.
Okay. I'm
wanna
not sure,
address the,
number two is a uniform accounting. I'm assuming,
Well, I would, we have a uniform accounting system right now that is being used, and I guess you start with the premise, and I'm assuming Mrs. Phillips is starting with the premise that there is something wrong with what is presently being done. I don't happen to agree with that. The process that's being used right now is that these organizations are, the amounts that are given to the recreational organizations are included in the budget, and they submit receipts and are reimbursed for the expenditures that they articulate ahead of time that they're going to be doing certain things, and then when they submit that receipt, they are reimbursed. So it's partly a budget issue that those things should be outlined ahead of time, which they go to the recreation director, and he makes those recommendations. So I'm not sure exactly what Mrs. Phillips is looking for at this point, but
Fred and I have been working on a shared service agreement with the sporting organizations. Most are a nonprofit. Some are in the process of becoming and getting that paperwork done to become nonprofits. We are also working with our insurance consultant, our JIF insurance consultant, getting a quote to provide a insurance policy that would cover all of our sports, and it would tie with this shared service agreement. So there are things in place. Unfortunately, things take time. We're waiting for all the organizations to file their nonprofit, what is it, 501c. But we're working towards, basically in writing what is in place. This implied contract of we will pay for insurance, you will play on our fields, things like that. It's working. We're working towards that.
And the third question was about the golf course. The end of the year is, I'm sure they're ready to close the books?
Yeah, at the end of the year, we'll do that. I know that Roxanne and our auditor will, and our tax collector, I believe, will be meeting right after the first of the year. We'll probably early in January, we'll be ready to provide some idea of where the golf course is. Obviously the formal, our formal closeout would be, what, the end of January?
Pretty much when the statements, our annual financial statement package is completed. That's pretty much the formal preliminary results prior to the audit. And those reports are due to the state by the 10th of February, so sometime.
So I would say certainly by the 10th of February, we'll have that financial statement done.
Okay. Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public portion. Any council comments?
Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, is North School holiday concert. Always a wonderful evening of entertainment. Everybody's welcome.
Just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah, and have a great New Year, and hopefully we continue growing in the new year. Thank you.
And I also want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy New Year, and be safe, everyone.
Happy, healthy.
And I join in those sentiments from my fellow council people. At the Tuesday meeting, I'll have a few probably nice words to say about Lisa and John. And I want to recognize John in particular for having the presence of mind to speak well of John Doring. We all should do.
Those Johns stick together.
That's it.
Yeah, I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday season. I hope everybody gets to enjoy time with their family. And really appreciate the work that our fellow council members do up here, as well as our department heads and all of our city employees. It's a great city to live in and a great city to represent. So thank you all.
Thanks, Vince. And, it's it. Good.
Our meeting next week is?
Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Okay, Tuesday at 2. Kind of an end of the year, wrap up some things and make sure that we can, if there's any business that has to be done before the first of the year, it can be done at that meeting. It is at this time of year, I think, that we spend a lot of time reflecting on how fortunate we are to live in a community like Brigantine. And I'm reminded tonight when I see the work that's been done through the True Spirit Coalition and Lynn and all the volunteers, how generous a community Brigantine is. And it has always been that way, continues to provide those in our community who need a little extra help at any given time. There are always people there willing to step forward. And it is also at this time of year that we recognize that those things that we hold most dear, family and friends and the time that we'll get to spend with each other, none of that would be possible if we didn't have individuals who are serving on the front line tonight all over the world, keeping us safe, and for our first responders, the police, and the firefighters who are willing to come to our aid at any time. We are particularly very, very thankful and grateful for the work that you do. And of course, Public Works. Looks like no snow for this Christmas, so you guys are going to be okay. But when we do have that event, that is the most difficult chair to sit in at a council meeting, as you know, when we do snow cleanup. But in all seriousness, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy Hanukkah and a Happy New Year. And it continues to be a pleasure for all of us to serve you. Need a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Once again, thank you for tuning in to your council at work.
Rick, would you do